What's up, Broncos country? My name is Kevin, and welcome to another edition of Bourbon Broncos No BS. I wanted to start the intro, but Jared, what do you got going on?
Guys, I'm super stoked. The 53-man roster's here.
Hold on. Let's before we get into the roster, let's get into the closet. As in, what's going on with your wardrobe, pal?
Oh, guys, I was trying to make it on time, and I actually did, but I think I forgot I was doing Daddy. Just cut to the intro. Just cut to the intro.
Don't cut to the intro. Don't.
What I like, yeah, I do what I like, yeah, I do what I like. Sip and go, sip is right, and I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, cause I know I'm the show, in the zone, here.
Orange Weekly, fans, brews, and Broncos news. Okay, We're going to try that again, ladies and gentlemen. Jared, you're better, closer. I'm not sure what you're doing still.
Something seems to be wrong with your shirt.
Did your kid dress you?
Well, I mean, I think probably this time. I think earlier that was a Jared picked outfit all the way.
Okay, well, look, if this is why Jared is always late, this is I can understand.
Maybe
Jared, what's up, man?
Take another couple of minutes.
What's going on, guys? How you been?
Oh,
good, pal. How about you?
Yeah, I obviously didn't get the orange jersey memo, and it's okay though. Nope. It's all right. I think we're okay. Yeah,
I mean, we're better than we were. Jared.
Well, guys, before you get into it, I just want to let everybody know who's watching. First off, welcome to the show. We got a lot to cover. Broncos preseason is over. We're going to go over the 53-man roster. Some surprising moves today, guys. A major trade that we're going to talk about, just a phenomenal trade that I want to I think we need to delve down into. And if you guys did not hear, when all this mess was going around, there was talk about if this guy was going to make the team or not. He had been struggling, but then was looking a little better. The last game especially was better. And then we traded for a kicker. Okay. Yeah. And I am just so happy that we spent time to trade for a kicker. And that was the biggest news that I saw today, guys. I don't know about you, but I'm floored.
I mean, there's about a handful of people who no longer have jobs right now in the NFL, so it's sad for them. But yeah, trading for a kicker is definitely
the way we start the show, Jared. Thank you for bringing that.
That's worse.
Yeah, I do it every year, guys. We got it. They were fighting for a job. They didn't make it. Hopefully they land elsewhere. But we're down to our 53-man. So let's talk about it.
Yeah, well, other than that, guys, I just wanted to let everybody else know for comments, and we try to answer people's comments and questions throughout the show. If you want to ensure that your comment comes through, go over to our YouTube. I'll pull up the YouTube link down below for everybody here. If you go over there and subscribe, especially pull up the video, comment from there. Your comments will come through. If you're commenting on Facebook, we don't always see those for some reason, so it helps us out even more, though, if you go to YouTube for other reasons as well. So make sure you go over there, hit subscribe, put your comments in, and watch us from there as well. Also, let's see. There's something else I was going to say. Oh, Jared, I want you to wait till the end of the show for your very important guy. This is awesome. The most important and incredible Denver Broncos fact that you will ever hear. So if you want to hear what that is, you need to wait for the end of the show. Jared wanted to tell you all at the beginning of the show. I said, no, we'll get changed first. Wait till the end. But that you're going to want to wait for that. So, but I think that's the perfect chance to lead us into the 53-man roster, guys, and see how we're all doing. So, John, I'm going to start with you, though, man. How you doing?
I am great, Kevin. What a great way to start this show, trying to talk about kickers. I hope that is the last that we talk about this situation. I'm sure it won't be. I would just like to put the disclaimer. Can I put this out there now that we don't spend more than 2 more minutes talking about that situation? I won't say it now. We won't talk about it now, but let's not talk more than 2 minutes when we do get to that point in the show, because we have plenty to talk about. Lots of situations going on, things that we can predict moving forward in the next 48 hours of what could happen with the roster to start week 1. So I'm excited to dive into it. The season officially is starting, it feels like, with the 53-man roster now set as it is.
Yeah. 100%. Absolutely. And first, I'm going to give a shout out to Jerry for representing Team Puffball so well in the comments. Love you, Jerry. Thanks for coming back for another year of Orange Weekly. We're going to give Jared a pass on his headgear, though, because Team Golf Hat the golf hat goes hard. That's just objective facts here. The golf hat goes hard. We're not going to give Kev Dan a pass for Team Foamhead. Nor are we going to give him a pass for the no-G business, but we'll get into that.
We're going to talk about no-G.
Yeah,
we're going to talk about no-G.
We're going to talk about it. But yes, I am excited to no, you're here now. I am excited to break down this 53-man roster. Lots to talk about, some controversial cuts, some stuff that might seem controversial and maybe shouldn't. But we'll get into it all. What do you think, Jared?
Yeah, I there's a lot of things. Honestly, not too many crazy cuts. There was a couple that were they were kind of, but the ones that were cut, they were already kind of on the border anyway, and they just made a decision based on what they saw in practice and the team practices, the joint practices, and then what we saw was the preseason games. Alberto had a great. Let's start there. He had a great third preseason game, but it wasn't enough to prove to the coaching staff that he was worth keeping on the team, and especially in a deep tight end room, which I do feel like we have. It just didn't work out. But we got a good trade. We traded for him instead of just letting him go. I mean, we traded him in a 7th for a 6th. So really, what was the real trade? I mean, we were going to waive him anyway, so we got something out of it. But I wish him luck. Where'd he go? Philly, right?
Yeah.
To a Super Bowl contender. I think he's okay.
Yeah. I think he might catch some passes for them this season, but I definitely agree with you that you saw him a lot in that preseason game, because I think we found out today because they were thinking about trading him and they wanted to they knew they were going to potentially cut him anyway, which is why he caught so many passes and why the game seemed to showcase him so much. So I get it, he had a great game and it's hard to see him go after it seemed like maybe he was finally living up to the potential, but I think we just found out with Sean Payton, he's going to keep one really athletic tight end that cannot block well right now, and all of the other tight ends on this team are going to be able to block. And if it came down to Greg Dulcich versus Alberto, it was going to be Greg Dulcich. That's not a choice. So
it sucks to see. Had a great game, right? Amazing game, honestly, by all accounts. I think he might have made the decision tough for the coaches, but it just seemed like it was never in the cards with this coaching staff. So I'm glad we got to get some moving up one round, 7th to a 6th was the value we were able to get out of that one game. But it is what it is. It didn't seem like it was in the cards.
Glenn, I will say his French street performer vibe is strong with this hat. And again, I don't hate it. It's great. Whoa. Oh, you guys, this is happening right now.
I feel like it helps the position of Team Puffball there, doesn't it?
I mean, nothing. It's not hurting. Anyway.
Jared, when did you get an elevator put in your room? That was impressive.
Right?
Wow.
I sold it. I sold it.
Wow.
Mimes don't talk.
Oh. It's hard to do a podcast with a mime.
We are starting strong here, boys.
Yeah. Oh.
Sean, it's Team Foamhead, okay? Team Foamhead, okay?
It's Team Awful.
I don't think you're going to sell this one, Kevin. Are you trying to sell that Foamhead? Is that what's going on here?
No. This is mine. Back off. I'll fight you for it.
So let's talk about the other thing that Broncos country is kind of sad about, right? Kendall Hinton. We know him as the quarterback that came in. He's we're hitting stands here. Obviously loved him for a while, but didn't make the cut. Can we get him back on the practice roster if he signs for another team? We'll see what happens. But that was, I think, those between Alberto and Hinton, kind of the two that Broncos country really kind of felt a lot for. And then we'll talk about the rest here. But what do you guys think about the Hinton release?
So to me, I think he had a couple chances in the last game, and I didn't go back and watch like what exactly happened. I just know he didn't make those catches, right? And it seemed to me like they were trying to give him the ball a couple times, and it just didn't work out. So I kind of had a feeling, especially the way he was playing later, it didn't look good. Now the question is, looking at the chart right now, we have 4 wide receivers listed, but one of them is Jerry Jeudy. So there's still questions about, rumors. Are we going to put him on short-term IR? Are we going to keep him on the 53-man roster? They're saying a month. He's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks.
Well, so they had the chance to put him on short-term IR, but that deadline passed today, and they didn't do it.
Oh, that's right, it did. That was today, not tomorrow. Yeah. So okay.
So he will be. They expect him to be back before week 4, is what they're saying by not doing that. Yeah,
I think Hinton is definitely a not just a practice squad guy, but he's like the guy that we would call up first. I think he has just that experience with the team, being around Russ and the other guys for at least a year. I wish he'd stayed, on the active roster, but that wide receiver room was so deep to begin with that it wasn't likely to happen.
Well, go ahead, John.
I was going to say, if we talk about wide receiver room, there was about 6 different guys that kind of fit very similar personalities, if you will, on this roster. It felt like, at least to me, Hinton being one of them. So him getting dropped wasn't a huge surprise to me. But also when we talk about his, him being one of the first guys that get called up, remember, this is a new coaching staff for him. So they're not the guys that are familiar with Hinton as much as we as fans are. So I'm not gonna be surprised he isn't.
I'm gonna cut you off there, John, because one thing you're not keeping in mind here is he is a Hall of Fame player.
You are not wrong.
Okay, he is in the Hall of Fame, and that adds weight. It adds credibility. Okay, so if you have a choice of calling up Joe Schmo and Hinton, who is in the Hall of Fame, who are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Huh?
Well, all right.
Kev, you're standing on a real straw house here. You don't got a lot to stand on.
It's not even a house. It's just a couple of straws, and he painted them together. And
look, I'm just sitting back here as John is just
he's
surgically demolishing my entire speech. Just so
That's what I'm here to do, Kev. I'm here for that. Also, are you going to wear that thing the whole show? Is this not?
I was wondering if anyone was going to say anything, and I might now. We'll see.
I'm not wearing it, so go for it.
Ayla likes it, so
yeah, that's great.
Yeah. All right, well, let's talk about another receiver who's on that list that I thought we talked about having only 4 receivers. Washington was another one that he was a draft pick from. Was it last year? Right? He's a second-year guy.
Yep.
Yeah, so he's another speedster that I kind of thought was going to make the team and. Didn't really seem in preseason, but I guess the coaching staff just didn't see it.
No, and so what will also happen tomorrow, guys, is Lil Jordan Humphrey's going to be signed to the practice squad, and then it sounds like Marquez Callaway is, I think, going to get signed back to the active roster, maybe. But there are guys that are going to be that were cut today, like Mike Purcell, for instance, who will be signed back to the active roster tomorrow once they put guys on. They pick the guys for short-term IR.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. We'll see that.
Yeah. So
before we go on, I want to make sure that everybody knows that was to your comment that
I wasn't going to pull that up.
To make sure.
Yeah. Good. Good.
Yeah, I got control.
Dang it. She was talking about something else, I'm sure. Anyway.
Okay, so that's the wide receiver room. I am a little worried that our wide receiver room seems so thin. With the injuries and I don't know if there's going to be some off-season acquisitions or if we just expect that it's just going to be 2 people out there at all times. It'll be interesting to see.
No, I am guessing that they're going to be scouring the waiver wire tonight, especially at receiver, to see. The Broncos are 5th in the waiver order. So whoever they decide to pick up, it's a decent chance that they'll have a shot at adding them. So that's one way to say, Broncos country, your roster's not quite set. I think it's going to look different tomorrow than it does today.
I'm pretty sure Peyton said something about that too.
Yeah.
I think he did an interview where he said specifically like, hey, we're looking at a lot of tape, not just on our guys, but some of the these guys that are hinge guys for other teams and seeing who we could pick up. And it looks like wide receiver room is probably going to be relatively high on that list to get some depth there with all the injuries that we've been having.
Yep.
So I'm just looking really
we're
quickly.
one injury away from an offensive lineman playing wide receiver. You know what I'm saying?
Well, let me throw out some of these names, and we can just get some quick reactions, okay, from each of you. Kenny Galladay from the New York Giants. He's a free agent. Yay or nay? Just quick yay or nay.
Nah.
I mean, here's the thing: is are we just getting him for chump change? Like,
let me see the rest.
Change for a 1-year deal.
Okay.
Sure.
Well, at this point, these guys are still available, so it's.
Well, I want to see the full list before I say no to people. I'll take them over.
Here. I'll pull it up.
It's great being on a podcast and getting called out for your video sucking. It's fun.
Yeah.
When it looks fine on your end, I gotta fix this crap.
Well, go. Yeah.
It's on me.
So,
it's on me. We all understand.
This isn't sorted in any order. I just opened up this page, and so
it's also not.
Here are just some names.
Is Julio Jones still a free agent?
Yeah.
Not that I'm actually interested, because I'm not. But these
are just really big. This looks like a fantasy draft from 2017.
2023 NFL free agents.
All right.
Wide receiver, NFL. It's not even the Canadian Football League.
Come on.
But I mean, I'm looking here. Is there anything like Sammy Watkins? I don't know.
Give me Rashad Higgins at CSU, baby. Rashad Higgins, I'll take him. He was a beast at CSU.
There it is. Yeah.
Okay. Let's look at him. Let's look. There you go.
He did, in fact, go to CSU. Good job.
Yeah. Nailed that one.
Yeah. I got him all day, boys.
You wouldn't
we don't have to click in on him. Kevin, we don't need to spend time on this. We could keep going more down the list.
We just want to see the freaking list.
You've been looking at the list and haven't. Okay.
We have so many things to talk about. We do not need to click into each.
Yeah, seriously. We have so much Broncos news.
The list is uninspiring. Let's move on.
We're also looking at 10 out of 50.
That's all I wanted was a quick fire, boom, this looks good, yes, no, and then we can move on. So thank you, David. I appreciate your help. We can move on.
I got you.
Moving on.
I got you.
The point there is we're going to make moves at wide receiver. We're not starting the season with 3 wide receivers. One of them being Brandon Johnson. He will be one of the 5, 6, maybe.
Right.
Oh yeah, probably. And I think he'll see playing time too. But this also, we joked about them just running two wide receivers on every play, and there might be just stretches early in the season where you don't see a lot else besides 2 wide receivers, two tight ends, and a shitload of runs. Because I think that's what Sean Payton really wants to do this year anyway. I think that's how he knows he's going to unlock Russell Wilson, whatever's left of Russell Wilson, and it's debatable what there is. But I really, really think that's what you're going to see more than anything on offense to start this season anyway.
We have the same amount of running backs as we do wide receivers on this roster.
No, it's that's what I'm saying. This is,
but it's only one less.
It's such an initial roster, right? There's so much change. That's why I say there's so much changes coming in the next 48 hours. There's no way we're going in week 1 with 4 wide receivers. It's not happening. One of them being Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah. Right.
Exactly. Yeah. So, when is it finalized, Anthony? So technically, it's fine. It's the initial, players that we have. They're like you were saying. There's still going to be a lot of smaller moves. I think the bigger places are obviously in place, but we'll look at that. Going back to Jerry's question here, I think you're talking about Stidham. He seemed to play better than Wilson, but it's because it was against a lot of people that aren't playing football anymore today.
We talked about this a little bit on the last show. The Rams had, I think, something like 37 rookies on a roster of 90 players. So Jarrett Stidham was playing against those players, and because it was their second string defense or third string defense that started that game. So yeah, Jarrett Stidham looked good because Jarrett Stidham has played in this league for a couple of years, and none of those guys have played in this league for more than 2 preseason games. So let's keep it in that perspective. Now, that being said, in general, would I rather the Broncos go out and win 41-0 and have the quarterback look really good than have them lose 41-0 and have them look like Stetson Bennett looked for the Rams? Of course I would rather have that, but it's just, I think the amount of conclusions we can draw from that particular aspect of the game are minimal.
Fair.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, it's a preseason game. You're right. All those points are super important. I think he's a viable backup.
Yeah,
I do. I think he's going to be a very good backup to Russ. And based on some of the sparks that we got with Russ in the game, in the first 2 preseason games, seeing they're not afraid to let him use his legs. I think that option. That option running with a veteran quarterback that normally people are really afraid to let that happen in a preseason game, meaning in a regular game, they're probably going to pull it out. I think he's a good backup. I think he's a good, viable option to back up Russ for this season.
Yeah.
And you look at just the way the league is anymore. I mean, how often do quarterbacks play a full season, with 0 injury? And
right.
That is rare, and it's not to say that Russell Wilson's going to get benched because he's not doing well. It's the odds are we're going to see Stidham play. So for everybody who is excited about Stidham and thinks that he's maybe a quarterback of the future, he can maybe, step in and fill Russ's role if we want to move on from Russ. I'm not knock on wood, right? I'm just being realistic here. You're probably going to get your chance to see that happen, this year for at least a short while, hopefully a very short while, but to see if he's what you saw in preseason or not. Okay. Then we can go from there. But just be patient and hopefully we don't need that. But like what you guys are saying, we also saw Rippon on the other side of the field this game. And I feel way better about Stidham stepping in than I ever felt about Rippon stepping in, So anyway,
yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I'll be honest. I stopped paying attention to the game by the time that Brett Rippon came in. So, all right, now John, you're looking so good right now.
Yeah, you look
crystal clear. It's better than it's
happier to hear that. Also, to come back talking about Brett Rippon,
you let it rip.
Yeah, John, when you
leave for 30 seconds, and Kevin immediately brought up Rippon. He was like, well, John's gone. I got my 30 seconds talking about Brett Rippon.
Can I reiterate how much we have to talk about? Why are we talking about Brett Rippon?
I wanted to talk about Brandon Marshall too, but you came back and interrupted me. So
all right,
which Brandon Marshall? Let's clarify.
The Broncos one.
Hey, okay. All right, John. Now that you've come back, what do you want to? What topic do you think is most pressing next? Because God, we need to move this along.
Yeah, we do.
Stop. Comments. We got to talk about viewers' comments.
Yes,
and the viewers want to talk about Will Lutz.
No.
John,
hey, my video's having issues again. I'm gonna have to test
2 minutes.
This yeah, right. Okay, 2 minutes. We are at 2 minutes. Go.
Started.
And I'm going to start. No, I'm not going to start. Go ahead, Kevin.
Look, bottom line. Look, I think this is just Sean Payton knows exactly what he's capable of. Right? It's a trust thing. I think. I think the trust factor is just not there for Maher, and best of luck to him and whatnot. But with Will Lutz, I think it's just maybe the numbers aren't as good, but the trust is there. So that's all I can say. But thank you for asking, Sean.
Has elapsed.
Thank you.
I
am so glad somebody asked.
I hate it, Sean, because I know you gave up a 7th round pick for Will Lutz. It's nothing. I think it was a pick. Wasn't it a pick swap too? I don't even think it was a full 7th rounder. It was a pick swap. But
was it really?
I don't know. Maybe it was. But either way, I hate it. You go out and you trade draft capital for a guy who was gonna get cut anyway. I don't think anybody else was calling about Will Lutz, first of all. Maybe I'm wrong.
1
about
minute
that.
remaining.
Thank you, Jared. Second of all, you traded for a guy who has a worse field goal percentage than Brandon McManus last year. And this is not me saying we needed to keep Brandon McManus. This is me saying that Will Lutz is not the answer either. And I hated it, and now I'm finished.
All right, and we're going to pass it 2 minutes because I'm going to make the point that I was not confident in Maher going in. Is that how you say his name? Going
how
into
I
the
thought it
season?
was.
Yes.
30 seconds remaining.
Oh, there's 30 seconds. Okay. That doesn't seem accurate, but
You're wasting it now, so
Keep this up.
there's 10 gone. All right. Good job.
You
got 15 seconds to make your point.
This season, I don't necessarily feel better about Lutz, but like Sean Payton made it clear that especially the kickers, were facing everybody else in the NFL. And Jared's distracting me. Everybody else in the NFL that wasn't going to make a team, they had to outkick them as well. So not surprised by the move. And I don't know. We'll see if it pays off.
Let's keep this same energy if he's missed 3 field goals in 4 weeks to start.
Guys, our 2 minutes is up. We're done.
Okay. All right. No, Jared's right. We got
Best 2 minutes of Orange Weekly in a long time. Anyway.
All right. Let's talk about the defensive backs.
I don't like it. Can we
We haven't talked about defense yet at all.
No, and let's talk about that DB room because I think it's loaded right now. You kept Surtain, of course. Kawan Williams is probably going to go on short-term IR. He'll be one of those players. But we also have Isang Bassi, I think, is going to play slot corner since Kawan Williams is on the IR. I think you're going to see Jaquan McMillan potentially rotate in and play snaps at slot corner. They could look at the waiver wire and pick somebody. Maybe even Bradley Roby, who was just cut by the Saints. Hey,
so we keep talking about the Saints, and we keep talking about, like, obviously Bradley Roby's coming from us, sent down the Saints, but he went to the Saints after Peyton had already been gone,
which is important.
He wasn't a Peyton pull. That's important because, like, all this, we have this. We've been taking Saints players, but it's all during the Peyton era. Roby is not a Peyton era player.
No, but he did play with Vance Joseph, I believe. Am I misremembering?
Well, yeah, in Denver. In Denver.
Yeah.
Right,
so there is at least that familiarity. I'm not going to stay up nights thinking about whether Bradley Roby gets on the roster, but they kept Tremont Smith. They kept Amari Mathis. I think it's a pretty loaded cornerback room as of now, and it might be a room that sees changes as the roster switches up. But I don't know. What do you guys think?
I don't know, David. I wouldn't say loaded is an interesting word to me here.
Okay.
To me, it seems like an untested. I'm excited. Don't get me wrong. I am excited, as you are, clearly, if you're calling it loaded. But I'm a little I wouldn't say concerned. I'm not concerned. But I think they're going to figure it out. Saying Bassi, looked like a fucking badass in the preseason. Like, every game he's making a pick, if not 2. Love that. Riley Moss was looking good in camp until he got injured, so he's going to come back. K'Wan Williams. I'm curious who that, like, opposite of Pat Surtain spot, who's going to fill that week 1. So I think Mathis. You're right. I think who's that?
I think it's Damari Mathis.
You think so? Okay.
Yeah. He gave up a couple of catches this preseason, but I overall I think he played really well. I think the reports out of camp of him having a good camp were not exaggerated. I think he's earned it until somebody else plays better to me.
Yeah. I agree. And to that point, maybe we are loaded and I just haven't, it hasn't been proven to me yet.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, and I think you have a good point because they are untested with, Damari Mathis is a second-year player and a 4th-round pick. And, Riley Moss hasn't played a snap in preseason, has been injured.
He looked good training camp until he went down, which was early, so it's hard to say he looked good.
It is. But you've also kept Darian Turner-Yell at safety. You've got Caden Stearns back there. You're keeping J.L. Skinner. I don't know what PJ Locke's
seem to be high on Skinner, by the way, as a rookie.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I think we're because they're not signed as a corner. I think we could pull some of these strong safeties, Darius Turner-Yell and those. They could all play slot. And depending on our defense, we played a lot of zone defense with
Especially in this last game, that was interesting. I thought the Fangio stuff that they were doing in the last game was really, really fascinating to me. But go on.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised with just the talent that we have, and he just adjusts his game to based on who he has, and we just play a lot of zone stuff. Now, does that help out? I do think that Pat Surtain's probably a better man player than he is a zone, but I think he could do either one. And maybe we do halves. There's a lot of different options out there with these, but we have the depth at DB. We do. Yeah. It's just not in your traditional zones of like, hey, we need more slot corners. Like, do we? Because I think some of these strong safeties, free safeties, can step up and play that. And now we have Caden Stearns and Jackson out there, right? So now we have two strong safeties out there in different locations, and we can just play the game the way we need to.
Yeah, I mean, especially I'm just like projecting into the future when K'Wan Williams comes. Like, he was a very good slot cornerback with us. It just depends on how long he's out for, and can we put the Band-Aid out there for when he comes back. So I'm not that concerned about the slot spot yet. That's like less of a concern. And then if you're looking, okay, if we feel good about the number 2 spot, then you're looking at the nickel. And then Jared, you're 100% right. Like, yeah, you throw a safety in the nickel spot. Like, we have we're probably keeping about 10 guys, 11 guys in the defensive backfield. So we have the depth there to make it work. I think.
Oh, we absolutely do. And I think they're athletic enough. Like, Caden Stearns can come in. Kareem Jackson's probably going to be on a pitch count, right? And Caden Stearns is going to come in and play in that nickel position. He could play a slot corner just as well as anybody else, I think. Oh, and he could be a run stopper if we need it. So we could play nickel.
I take that back. 13 people currently cornerback or defensive back on the roster. So it's like a fifth of the team.
Yeah. Like, it's a lot. Like, so the concern just because we get one injury on the defense is like, oh, we need to go out and like, do we though? Because I do think we have the depth there. We just got to you just adjust defenses. That's what coaches do. You just adjust to the strength of your players.
Some might say it's loaded.
Would they say that?
Some might.
I want to know.
The volume is loaded, David. I will give you the volume number as it being loaded.
All right. Now, let's talk about D-line. What do you guys think?
Not loaded.
Get up to the front. No, but I think
by volume.
No, correct. But, or by talent level, but I do think you have some young, interesting players there.
Elijah Garcia making the team.
Elijah Garcia, Matt Henningsen, both on the team. Jonathan Harris comes back. Might be a D-line that you see added to with a player or two, but I don't hate going into the season with this group of guys. What about you?
No, I think those guys, the strength there, what you're seeing already, is going to be instrumental in just holding this defense, right? And they keep talking about, what's going to be stronger. Does the pass rush help out? The backfield, or does the backfield coverage help out the pass rush? And I think, the defensive line there too, the speed and the players we're going to have to be able to put pressure up the middle is also just as an important factor. So I think we have a very complete defense. It's maybe not the most talented, in the league, but in terms of skill sets and everything, I think we have a very complete team or defense that is going to be able to hold up really well.
I'm happy that we have strength in their DB core. I think is that
a way of saying you are not confident, Jared?
Yeah, I think that's the nicest way I could put this. Not super confident, guys. We were like last on defensive line last year. David's gonna argue with me like, oh yeah, our defense is the one that held him to so many points. I get it, dude. I get it. Our defense is like okay, it's good, but our defensive line got how many sacks last year? How many tackles for losses?
I don't know, Jared, but how many?
Not a lot. We were bottom.
I don't think he was making you on, David. I don't think he was wanting to start a stat for you.
I think I'm going to have to look it up now because I don't think.
Yeah, this wasn't a call and response. This was.
I don't think he knows. Well, you got a response.
Call only. No, but we were almost dead last in sacks if I remember correctly, and we were very very close to it in tackles for losses. Like our defensive line was not really there for most of the season last year, and. Again, luckily we had, the linebacking core played really well. And I know I'm going to say like I gave linebacking core a lot of crap last year, but second level was doing their job. We were getting tackling. We were doing our job. Our defensive backs, obviously led by Patrick Surtain and Justin Simmons, were doing really well. I just think that our weakness is that interior defensive line. And we're getting, Gregory back. We're getting, some edge rushers back. But I think the interior defensive line is what needed a little bit of help. And that's all to say, too. I wasn't super happy about, we didn't do anything in the offseason to do it either, to change it. Like, if anybody was cut in the defensive line, I'd be like, okay, cool.
All right, I have a question. I might be an idiot, and I probably am. I usually am when I start a sentence that way. Mike Purcell, we released him. What am I missing something there?
He'll be back tomorrow. He's one of those players that's going to be he's going to get signed back tomorrow. Now, I think, Jared, you're correct. The interior defensive line didn't create a ton of sacks last year, but I think the edge rushing group this year looks much improved from last season. And I think you've seen reported steps forward from Jonathan Cooper and Nick Benito, in camp actually translate to the field, which is really intriguing to me. So I think we're going to be in a better position depth-wise there, even if you lose a Randy Gregory for a few games.
Which we're just assuming at this point.
Right.
Yeah, at this point, it's just we'll have him for a couple games. Then, okay,
there's no reason that we just saying, he's not going to be there for a certain number of games.
Look, that's one thing that we can definitely go for it. Go for it.
No, I was going to say, I love that. I love that we're hearing reports that they're taking steps forward, but it's going to have to show on this field. We're going to have to see Browning and those guys.
And that's the other thing too. We have to wait for Browning to come back because he's starting on the PUP list. But hopefully, that's the thing. It looks good without him at the moment, with Frank Clark in there, who at least has shown it on an NFL field before. So I'm more hopeful about that position group list this year and the depth there than I was last year.
Well,
ladies and gentlemen, I need to interrupt you. We have in the green room somebody who I think you're going to really enjoy speaking.
I'm going to need more whiskey for this one. Get everybody an extra glass.
I got a full glass.
Mohawk Kevdan, maybe. Welcome to the show.
I can't right now.
Hey guys.
I'm aghast.
It's Kevdan here.
I don't know what I'm looking at.
I'm going to switch my hat every round of our show right now. I actually trimmed up my beard for today just to appease all of you guys. I know we're talking real Broncos stuff, but the real thing about us is that we're us. That's it. That's all we're talking about.
Give us your take.
Kev, that was a great take.
I want give us your.
And we have an offense, and we've got a special teams, and it's a football team. So.
Wow. Talk to us about the kicker. Talk to us about Will Lutz.
Guys, our 2 minutes was up. David, this is your fault.
I don't care.
This is all I've been wanting to talk about the entire time. I love kickers. Let me tell you how much I love kickers.
Right? They're awesome.
They do the game. They are the game. Kickers are the game. That's it. Yeah.
They're the linchpin.
What else can you say?
Kevdan,
you've said it all, and our minds are blown.
Look, I got a custom jersey, bro.
Boy, it's and there it is, number 11
That's how
too.
You know it's really me.
Oof.
That's how you know
it's even.
Me.
The funny thing is, it's a kid-sized jersey.
Yes, that tracks because of
that
course,
also tracks.
as anybody who's met Kevdan knows, he's not a tall man.
XXL kids jersey, but it fits me real well. I needed the shortness of it because the other ones are too long for me. I'm not that tall.
Brushing up on his knees.
Anyways, I don't mean to interrupt the real football talk, but I did mean to interrupt the real.
Okay, Mohawk Kevdan, maybe you came in with some hot takes about the team, and we have special teams and stuff. So I really appreciate you coming on and letting us know about that.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Terrific. Well, guys, do we have any other Kevdan? do you have anything
Which one?
other pressing? Obviously, the real Kevdan, Mohawk Kevdan, maybe. I don't know who this imposter is who started the show with us, but now that we've got real Kevdan on the show, I would like to know if they have any other takes.
I'm going to say real Kevdan. Obviously, I forgot how tan real Kevdan is. At least dark skinned compared to what I have.
Did she get muted?
No,
no. I think she's mocking the imposter Kevdan over here.
No, it's not a she. This is real life.
I can't.
This is real life.
This is
my
real
hair.
Guys, this is real
my
life.
Real skin tone. It's not a ring light.
Yes. Now,
if there was ever an episode,
this is my favorite quote. I love this quote. I just want to say we are a team, and the team is a team.
Team.
It was the quote of the night. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Terrific.
I'm proud of it.
It's amazing.
Well, I do my best work when I just show up and do work. That's it.
True.
We're gonna have to have a trivia show. It's like who said it, Kevdan or maybe Kevdan. And then we have to guess
Mohawk
whose
Kevdan,
quote that
maybe.
was.
It's gonna be tough.
Kevdan or Mohawk.
It's gonna be tough.
gonna
I
be
feel like
tough.
that quote could have came from Kevdan.
Could have been it. Could have been anybody.
could have been anybody.
I agree with that. That
Yeah.
sounds good.
The ones you
That's
get
a great.
even.
By the way, that's a great trivia
At the same
category.
time, I'm also
Who
going to
said this?
disagree. I'm going to
Who
agree
said this?
and disagree with it.
Oh,
And the team is gelling. Yeah, no. Where's that Ayla girl? She was cute. Like, what happened to her?
we all miss her.
Yeah.
Kevdan, behave.
That-
Mohawk
that-
Kevdan, maybe behave.
maybe she'll be back one day.
Maybe.
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 Now, while we're all here, I want to talk about Jaleel McLaughlin. What do you guys think?
Can we please
No
like
G.
on the okay, real quick, Dave? We have nothing to talk about today, right? So it's a perfect day to talk about kickers, and it's a perfect day for fake Kevin to come on the show and just destroy everything.
John is spitting fire tonight. He's
Not to say I don't love it, because I absolutely love it, and
There's so many G's. There's so many G's.
Well, there's one G.
No G.
and that's-
Yeah, not that G. Not that G. He's no G, but not that G.
I'm just saying there's too many Kevins in the room, and I think we know which one we want to go.
I
This is
agree.
I love this. If this is what it's
Good.
All right.
Thanks, goodness.
Or is that
Jared
easier?
finally takes control here. All right, so now that we've got the actual core lineup of Kevdan, John, David,
We had a
and
good
Jared,
fill-in for the first 40 minutes of Kevin.
Right.
Yeah, that first
Yeah,
40
now we have
minutes
the
were.
real
now we've got the real deal. So Jaleel McLaughlin, one of 4 undrafted rookies to make this team, but I think the one we're all most excited about. Yeah. Let's see, Nate Atkins, Alex Pachevsky. I'm gonna relook up how to pronounce that name, but and Thomas.
I was like, I don't. That's not a real person, but okay.
Palchevsky, that's how you call and talk. That's how you say that.
You say so.
I think so. And then Thomas Incoom, outside linebacker.
Yeah. Where'd that come from?
Well, and nothing against Incoom because he did play well, especially in this last preseason game. But I think he might be one of the first players out the door if there are waiver wire additions.
You could be correct there, my friend.
Mhm.
That was the name, probably the first name I saw when I saw the list that I was surprised about when I saw Incoom. I saw him play this last week. I was like, oh, I haven't seen that name before. I hadn't really been tracking him in camp. Maybe I totally missed it. It's totally possible. Yeah. But I mean, good for him. Happy for the guy. But
Sure. But I started this digression by talking about Jaleel McLaughlin.
Okay.
Yeah, I
You did. You
do want to
absolutely
talk about this.
Yes.
I think. Oh yeah, that's funny. That's not the one I went to pull up. So McLaughlin's not a workhorse candidate. Remember, he's not back there by himself. He's not going to be a workhorse. He's a third, a speed guy who can find a hole pretty quick. He's going to be used on here and there downs. I don't think they have any intention on using him as a workhorse.
No.
So I don't, and especially when Javonte Williams comes back, Javonte Williams comes back and we'll be fine.
Yeah, I think I saw somebody tweet earlier that he's going to play a Darren Sproles role in this offense, and that makes a ton of sense to me based on his skill set and his electricity with the ball in his hands. I love that.
Like, think about the split back gun, like you're gonna have so many options.
Yeah.
And the dump off option, you got one to block, one to dump off to. Now, granted, defenses are gonna be able to scheme against that because they're gonna know who's not blocking. And it's probably not gonna be Jaleel McLaughlin, but
Look, he tries. He's just a little guy.
Yeah, I mean, but I think you're right. I think we're going to use him in those passing down situations. Obviously, he's going to be back there to be able to help out in the pass game. So, and not for nothing, he looked even against the ones. He was looking pretty good.
He's looked solid.
Yeah,
and he's hitting holes quick. He's speedy through the gaps. And
I seem to remember a couple of weeks ago being told that he wasn't going to see the field. John, is that?
Ooh.
What's
I believe on this show last week I did say this, that he would make the number 3, which, by the way, being number 3 on this roster is a freaking achievement for the guy that was undrafted.
No, I don't. Go ahead.
Oh, you don't remember this conversation?
No. I remember this conversation. I'm replying to Neil's comment that Jared put up on the screen while you were talking, which was rude of him and rude of me to respond to while you were talking. So I'm sorry.
You threw me off.
For the record, fake Kev is still backstage controlling comments as well. So we're battling right now.
Totally throwing us off. I want to talk about Bradley Van Pelt if we're going to the comments section. No, I'm kidding. Great to see you.
You don't want to go on a high horse about Bradley Van Pelt right now?
Wow.
Yeah.
It's not the off season.
Great sweatpants.
Right.
I am really avoiding this comment, and it's the second.
Show off with your great sweatpants. Okay.
Good point.
Carry on.
No, Jaleel, he's gonna have a room on this offense. He's gonna have his. Okay, Javonte Williams. Is he taking touches away from Javonte Williams, David?
No. I think he's going to play 10 to 15 snaps a game and see.
That was my point last week. I want to throw that out there.
All right. Okay. All right. Well, I think that was my point 2 weeks ago, but I was told.
I think we're agreeing and both yelling at each other for no reason.
Yes, but it's funny.
What is this, first take?
Well, I mean, not so much. That show's really gone. I mean, Shannon Sharp's now going to be with Stephen A., that's going to be interesting.
Okay, back to Jaleel McLaughlin. You're right. Like in the first at least 3 weeks, I don't think Javonte Williams is he's gonna be on a pitch count for the first couple weeks. You got to nurse him back, right? You got to get him back into shape.
Maybe I don't know what they're doing with Javonte. I'll be honest.
I think Jaleel McLaughlin will be.
I don't know.
He's gonna be 10 to 15 touches through the first 3 or 4 games, unless he goes off, right? Unless his touches, he's getting 6 yards per carry or 7 yards per carry, whatever it is. Unless he's going crazy, it's going to start to taper off as Javonte Williams starts to take over as the lead workhorse. And then we have a lead workhorse, a backup, and then Jaleel McLaughlin is just going to be out there on passing downs for the dump off. And he might get some catches, right? He might get some dump off catches, but we'll see. I don't see him getting that many carries.
I will say this to John's point, and then we're going to throw it over to Kev Dan. I don't think you're going to see Javonte Williams take less than 50% of the snaps at running back in week 1. I think we've been thinking that they're going to slow play him back this whole time. And nothing in their actions has actually shown that they're going to.
I thought the same thing.
Yeah.
Before week 2 of preseason, I thought the same thing.
Right. And then he just played so much and they let him do everything. And I think they are going to put him out there. And unless he's not effective running the ball, I think he's going to get touches. Now, Kev, over to you.
Well, I think touching ball is his job, and it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to be a 50-50. He had a substantial injury when it comes down to it, and I think Sean Payton is going to be smarter than that. That's why we're going to use both of them effectively. And when it comes down to it, Russell Wilson needs the help with the running back. So we're going to have to play off of each other and just play football.
Valid point. Good point.
Well, point. And to Mohawk Kevin Maybe's point, you've seen him a lot in the preseason trying to get him back to health to see what he could do. But I think they have a lot of faith in Sammy Perrine that I don't think that they're going to need to use him as a more than 50% workhorse. I think he's going to get under 50% between McLaughlin and Perrine. He's going to have a lot of chances to get in there.
Yeah.
I would be surprised if he got 50% of the carries.
Here's the thing with McLaughlin. I love them. I'm super excited that he made the roster and proved himself. And he could be a breakout freaking player on this team. I'm looking at fantasy drafts where this guy's not drafted anywhere, and it's you never know. By week 3, this guy could be coming out, depending on how things go one way or the other. I'm expecting it to be the Javonte Williams, Samaje Perine show at running back. I think McLaughlin, when he gets in, it's going to be a gimmick type play, maybe, if they want to give him the ball. I don't expect him in the backfield taking snaps and just like a up the middle type of a play. I'm going to keep talking because you guys are rubbing your ears and doing stuff. Kevin's back. Well, fake Kevin's back. And I don't know what's going on anymore. But
no, too, are you saying you're a McLaughlin lover?
Did you say Joe? I don't know who Joe.
No,
Am I a McLaughlin lover?
Yeah.
Did,
Never mind.
I'm a fan. I'm excited.
The hesitation
Okay.
says it all.
What is happening?
Thank you, Sean. As I
We
move
brought-
on from
we
this conversation,
brought
thank you,
Kevin
Sean.
back.
It's P. Ryan.
Also,
I called him
We all know
Kareem.
that except you, Jared.
I think you called him Sammy, which
Yeah, he said,
it's definitely
Yeah.
Samaje.
That's what Sammy
he
for
goes
short.
by
That's his
Sammy.
nickname.
No, he goes
Yeah.
by
Fair,
Sammy.
Jared.
He told me
It's fair.
he told me to call him Sammy.
Oh,
Right?
okay.
It's just
Yeah.
yeah.
Sure.
I have him in my
That will
phone.
happen.
He was like,
Sure.
save me as Sammy. Like, well, we're fine. We're good.
Shooting him a
I
Sammy.
did that on like week 1 of preseason, and then I looked up how you actually say it, and then we figured it out. So
Yeah, I've been absent all preseason. We know this. I've been passed out drunk on the couch. All right, like I just
We know.
we know. And you show up, and
Hey.
it's great, and we all love you for it.
Hey, Mohawk Kev Dan, maybe.
Okay, wait, last point.
Hey
Last
guys,
point.
Oh, sorry.
Hey guys, I gotta go.
No,
Yes.
you don't.
My
Liar. Don't.
cat needs me, but
Your cat is fine. Your cat's fine.
Kev Dan is a lover of cats. This is true.
No, you're fine. Sean Payton made the point that Jaleel McLaughlin reminds him of Reggie Bush and Alvin Kamara, which we know how he's used him in the past. So I could see him as the season progresses, like starting to fit into these gimmicky type of, like he had maybe not so much with Kamara, but with Reggie Bush that I just said, out on the exterior at wide receiver, like playing these different positions. I'm just saying the guy has potential in these weird roles.
Oh, it was.
And
You
now
have
I
a
will
really.
drink and stop this whole. Can we just go next topic?
yeah, because we covered all that. Like we literally have already
No, and
covered
it
those
wasn't.
bases.
But it wasn't even a bad point. It was just watching John grow more self-conscious about himself talking and melting down as the comment went along.
I blame Kevin.
It was
Big Kevin
just-
came back and it ruined me. And he's got that stupid. He's got that stupid foam hat still.
Yeah,
I can't deal
yeah.
with it. Everything
I can't-
going on right now, I can't handle it. I'm not a professional, guys. Ugh.
Mohawk Kev Dan, maybe. Thank you for joining us. You're always
Appreciate
welcome
that.
here.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
having you. Your
Bravo.
contributions are more than welcome.
Bring Ayla back
Welcome.
when you see her.
yeah, no, I'll
Yeah.
tell her you guys said hi.
Yeah, let her know that we miss her.
Yes.
Yeah, please.
Maybe
Yeah.
she'll save and come back.
Maybe. Maybe. Now, while
See ya.
we've got everybody, and she's gone now, and that's sad.
You mean he?
Anyway.
Well, we don't know her pronouns.
Right.
The real Kev Dan.
The real Kev Dan.
Very
Now that
good.
we've got fake Kev Dan back because real Kev Dan had to go, I think we would be doing Marvin Mims a disservice by not talking about how well he played. And again, yeah, second and third stringers, but he's a rookie and he's supposed to play well against against who he's out there against. So he did. And I thought it was really, really interesting. I think we're going to see him featured with the number one offense. Well, obviously, because they don't have any more receivers to play right now, but also I think just because he played really well, and I think Sean Payton is going to be able to figure out things to do with him in real game situations.
I mean, we have to. He's our number 2 wide receiver going into week 1. Like
At this point,
he's
yeah.
going to be involved.
Yeah.
I am excited that he showed up on Saturday because I haven't been super impressed, at least with the preseason games. I understand, training camp had been a different story for him, but now we finally saw it on the field on Saturday. So I'm excited. He's gonna again, another guy that is not being drafted in fantasy football, but he's going to be the number 2 wide receiver for this team until Jerry Jeudy's back.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think he just showed things that he can do right away to help the team too. That end around in the red zone, he was going to score unless he got brutally face masked, which is, I think, probably why the player
I'm just glad he's healthy from that.
Right? Yeah, that's ridiculous. I'm glad. Yeah,
well, it's a good point. Let's talk about it. Like right now, our starting wide receivers are Cortland Sutton and Mims. And
Brandon Johnson, number 3.
Yeah, yeah.
For week 1.
Like,
that's right.
So
much change coming.
And you know how I feel about the Mims pick. Like, I mean, I don't have to say it again, but I don't think the Mims pick was a great pick until now, because now we're like, oh, we have 4 wide receivers and one of them is a second round pick, which is fine. But have we seen enough for Mims to be like, nah, Russ is gonna be fine this year? Like, he's got plenty of targets.
No, not yet, for sure. But he did. I think he did the most with the opportunities he was given, especially in that third preseason game. That catch down the field from that, where Stidham got rocked was just ridiculous.
Looked like a touchdown, by the way.
Yeah, well, all right. Yeah, I know. And I didn't see him get touched, but we can debate that at a later time. Anyway,
preseason doesn't matter. Won't go on the stat sheet. He's fine.
But good awareness by him to get up and run when that's not the rule in college. Yep. And also, like, that ball was not thrown in a place where he was like going to catch it in stride. He had to come back to the football against 2 defenders, and he still made that catch. And so that gave me a lot of excitement for his potential early in the season, if nothing else.
No, 100%. He looks like a steal in fantasy football. I'm just saying. In the last round of the draft.
Yeah, it was like I just did my draft, and Jerry Jeudy's going so much higher than Cortland. Like, Cortland's our number 1 wide receiver right now, and he's like dropping to like 182. Like, and Jerry Jeudy's still going. Like, I was like, oh, you guys are crazy. Even with Jerry Jeudy back, they're going to nurse him back. Like, there's no way that he's going to be 100% after a hamstring injury. Like,
right? Yeah, that's
anyways,
true.
I love Jerry, and I hope he does come back, because we need him. Like, let's be honest, we do need him. I
think Sutton should be elevated more than he has been going, if we want to talk about fantasy football. But I do also like Jeudy still for the overall season. So
who else is Russ gonna throw to?
Greg,
my boy Dulcich, or Marvin Mims.
What about Marvin Mims, Jared? Jaleel McLaughlin.
So I'm not betting anybody, because I'm not ready. I'm not ready to take these Vegas odds, but you guys think that both those guys are going to get more targets than our number 1? Cortland Sutton.
No one ever said that. Literally, no one ever said that, Jared.
You guys are good. You
guys are saying random comments, and you're saying they're going to be the number 1 wide receiver on the Broncos.
It's not. No, you're being a silly Billy. Don't be a silly Billy.
Speaking of being silly Billies, it is time we move this silly Billy's conversation.
All right, now we can continue. Oh, wait, I messed that up. Now we can continue our real. Oh, okay.
Kevin might kill you. He might kill you.
Kevin, I'm fired. Guys, it was great. It's been a great 7 years with Orange Weekly. I really appreciate you guys. Kevin's gonna let me go after the show.
Please.
Please. Definitely not.
I'm not gonna say it's about time, but
no, I want to get some.
I didn't say it. I said I wouldn't.
He said he wasn't gonna say it. He did say that.
He didn't say it.
He did say
he didn't say it. After that one time.
We can't. Well, first
count how many times he says
it.
I didn't get to use my calculator earlier today, but this I pre-counted.
How did this survive the move?
It's got another one coming too.
No,
in I believe what Kevin is about to say.
Yes. We're gonna do some closing thoughts, and we'll head over to the backstage, and Jared can talk about his hibiscus calculator all he wants.
So
let's get some
pants or no
thoughts.
Pants this time?
It's always no pants. How many times do I have to tell you?
I can never remember.
Why do you want to wear pants so much? Like, I don't.
Why are you wearing pants now?
I look great in pants.
Yeah. All right. Go ahead, Jared. Final thoughts.
Yeah. Let's do it.
I pre-counted this to 53 men. We now are down to 53 men on the roster. I actually did.
You said men. You pre-counted to 53 men. There's a weird thing to say.
It's a 53-pan roster. That's how.
That was set up for other reasons.
You also just said 53-pan roster. I'm going to go because
Jared's going on a whaling expedition and he's 53 men.
Jared's definitely melting down right now. I'm going to give my final thoughts, and I'm going to hook up William with this comment in my final thoughts because I didn't have final thoughts prepared. William, I think our fullback has proven himself in this preseason to be good in short yardage situations. Maybe he'll be our go-to in those scenarios, and they've talked about how difficult it is to defend that fullback dive in 4th and 1 or 3rd and 1 or 2. So, obviously he made the 53-man roster, and I think he might be a deep, like we've talked about this whole time, we're going to run the football a ton, and I think he's going to be a big part of the game.
It seems fair to have our final thoughts to be about random things in this episode where we should be talking about very important things. Don't forget Nate Adkins made the roster, who can play tight end and fullback. So not only do we have one starting fullback in Burton who can play tight end as well, but we have a tight end who can also play fullback. So that's fun.
Very versatile players. Yep.
How about that? All right, Jared, let's try this one more time.
Yeah, we're going to try this one more time. We're down
How
to
many men are we talking about this time?
53 people.
Well, he is in the Navy. We are going to whaling.
We're going on a whaling expedition, and I need 53 people. So we're down to 53. And as we said earlier in the show, if you weren't watching, that is going to fluctuate. The people that you see on the roster right now, we're going to lose some to practice squad. We're going to lose some to short-term IR. And we're going to be picking up some people, especially wide receivers. Expect that wide receiver. And not for nothing, I think the DB room is going to get smaller as the wide receiver room gets larger coming into the first game. And I think very early in the show, someone asked, when is that roster set? The roster's set game day. Let's be honest. We don't know exactly who's going to be playing game one until probably like the week before, and that's just to get some practice reps in. I think that's really when we're going to find out. So next week, watch us again next Tuesday, and we'll give you an update on everything that we did in the past week.
Awesome.
Also, my whaling expedition is going to be Tuesday of next week after the show. So if you want to jump on, hit me up.
Tahiti. I heard Tahiti.
I thought you were inviting only me to that. So now that's just open to. Okay.
No, I think he was inviting you to watch the screening of The Whale that came out a year ago.
Yeah. Also,
Brandon
I did
Fraser
not realize I sent you that email.
Academy Award winner.
I haven't seen it, but it sounds hot.
Brendan Fraser is a god.
He is. Hot is not what it was, but boy, it's if you want to cry.
Well, your definition of hot is different than mine, David.
Wow.
This is backstage content. Like, Kev, let's do
this.
Hey,
everyone.
Did you call him?
And we have a special guest on the backstage as well. She's going to be there. It's going to be awesome. We'll see you there. As always, 2 things to say.
Oh no.
What was it last? Keep sipping and go Broncos.
And go Broncos.
Keep sipping. That's what it was.
Let's just go Broncos.
Stay sipping. Stay
Broncos.
Go Broncos. See it, guys.
Do what I like, yeah, I do what I like, yeah, I do what I like. Sip and go, sip is right, and I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, cause I know I'm the show. In the zone, here I go, in the zone, here I go, in the zone, here I go, yeah, they know I'm a pro.